Okay, in this video I'm going to do an unboxing of a Lenovo ThinkPad T400. Now this is a laptop that I got used from eBay for about $177 shipped. Now when I bought my used Dell for my Ubuntu experiment, some of you guys said I should have gotten a Lenovo. So I checked out what was available and I found this on eBay, and I kind of have a thing for diamonds in the rough. This is a dual-core laptop running at 2.4 gigahertz per core. It has 4 gigs of RAM, and it's a 14-inch laptop. So I think it'll be cool to mess around with. So let's get to it. So I have my cutter handy, but the more I look at this box, I don't think I'm going to need it, at least to get it out of the box, maybe for the wrapping on the inside. So let's get this thing open here. Here's the ThinkPad, and it looks like the battery's attached to it. And what do we have here? Probably the power adapter. It feels like there's a cord in there. So let's start with the cords here. And just rip this paper here. Here we go. Power adapter. You have your Lenovo branding on there. Should look very familiar to you if you have any kind of laptop. And it has that nice little Velcro strip to keep everything nice and tidy. And then here you have the actual plug for here in the United States. It's got some protective plastic over the actual prongs there. Put that back on for now. Let's get to the main event here, the laptop itself. And it does have some heft to it, but that's not a big deal. I know these laptops are known for being very sturdy. And let's see if I can get this open here somehow. Packed very well, which is always a good thing, even though it was in a very small box. But again, these things are very sturdy, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of IT departments use them. Looks to be in pretty good condition. You have some of the Lenovo branding over here. Some of the plastic coming off there, but that's not a big deal. I expect that for a $177 laptop. You have your ThinkPad branding over there. Of course, you have your rubberized finish on top here. There is a little bit wear in the corners here, to be expected for an older laptop. Now up top, you also have your Energy Star branding, and you have some indicator lights up here. You have a battery indicator, you have an indicator that shows you when the device is plugged in, and then it looks like a sleep mode indicator there. Now on the front of the device, you have your FireWire port here, and this is your Wi-Fi switch. You have your headphone jack and your mic jack, and then you have your latch to open this up. On the right side of the laptop, you have your DVD drive, and this one's a DVD-RW drive and CD-RW drive. And you can actually swap these out. This is called an Ultra Bay. Similar to the D-Bay on the Dell laptop, you can actually swap these out. You can get another caddy to put in here that could be just a blank if you want to decrease the weight of your laptop. You could get a caddy that's for another hard drive, an internal hard drive, or you can get one that's actually a backup battery, a 3-cell battery. And to accomplish that, you just hit this switch here, and you should be able to pull the drive out pretty easily. There we go. Just like a Nintendo cartridge back in the day. And I think that's a really cool feature. I like that a lot. You have a USB 2.0 port here. On the back of the device, you have your battery. You have a Kensington lock here. You have your steel hinges up here. And then you have some venting and, of course, your power port here. On the left side of the laptop, you have more venting here. you have your VGA port here, your modem port, your Ethernet port, 2 USB ports, and 2 PC card slots here. On the bottom of your laptop, you have your dock connector here, you have your 4 little rubberized feet, and you have your access points for if you want to swap out the hard drive or upgrade the memory, all that good stuff. And you can also access the battery from here. Now the cool thing about the bottom of the laptop here is that if you notice here, there's little icons there for the screws that you want to take out when you want to do an upgrade. So you have an icon with a keyboard on it, an icon with RAM in it, and an icon with a drive in it. So it'll tell you what screws you have to remove to do those upgrades, which is pretty cool. So let's open this up here. And the hinge is still nice and tight. So what you have here is a 14.1-inch matte screen. And my camera always has problems focusing on big monolithic things like this. Up top here you have your webcam, which is one of the reasons I got this, and then you have your keyboard light up here. When you turn that keyboard light on, it shines down onto the keyboard down here, which is what Lenovo used to do instead of having a backlit keyboard. Of course, I'm going to have to clean this laptop up a little bit. I always do that when I get a new device, but you have your trackpad here, and it is very small. And that's because you have buttons on the bottom and buttons on the top. This touchpad, I don't think it's a multi-touch touchpad because you have your scrolling on the side and you're scrolling from left to right on the bottom, but I'll check that out when I actually fire it up. Now you have your little touch point nub here where you can control your mouse. I don't really use it, but I don't have any feelings towards it one way or another. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a nice option to have. I don't think I'm going to be using it too much, but you have corresponding mouse buttons down here when you use that, and then you use this to scroll up and down. You have a full QWERTY keyboard here, and it is the older style keyboard, which is another reason why I went with this device, because I do like the older keyboards, even though I don't have a problem with the modern chiclet keyboards. But like I said, I kind of like messing around with some older equipment that's still functional, that still, enables me to have a good computing experience, but it's kind of like a throwback, which is kind of cool. Now up here you have stereo speakers, you have a fingerprint reader here with your ThinkPad branding down here, and then you have some controls up here. You have a mute button, a volume down, a volume up, a Think Vantage button, and I believe that's sort of like a tech support button that you press and it brings up software. Here's your power button. Then you have a whole bunch of lights here with your Lenovo branding and then your T400 branding over down there. Now some of the lights that are included here, your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, if you have your caps lock on, your battery, your charge, if you're charging it, if it's plugged in, things of that nature. Now I don't believe that this device has an operating system on it, but I'm going to fire it up anyway. So let me just do an adjustment here, and I'm going to press on the power button. And let's see what comes up. Probably just the BIOS. Oh, there's Windows on here. Wow, unexpected. I didn't think I got Windows on this device. Interesting. All right, it has Windows 7 Ultimate on it, and it actually has AVG antivirus on it. And the listing on eBay says that an operating system was not included on the device, which is very interesting. But, wow, so I don't have to put Windows on here. Very cool. So I did a Windows experience test on here, and it scored a 3.4. And that's because the graphics on this laptop brought the score down. Everything else was 4 and above, or 4.1 and above. The processor scored a 6.0. The RAM, which is 4 gigs on this laptop, scored a 5.9. The graphics, the desktop performance for Windows Aero, scored a 4.1, but the gaming graphics is the 3D Business and Gaming Graphics Performance is the 3.4, which brought it down. The primary hard drive, which I believe is a 160 gigabyte hard drive on here, scored a 5.9. So definitely more than enough for what I'm going to need it for. So over here is the information on the computer. It's got Windows 7 Ultimate running on it with Service Pack 1. Again, the Windows Experience Index score was 3.4. It's running a Intel Core 2 Duo P8600 at 2.4 gigahertz per core. You have 4 gigabytes of RAM, as I mentioned, 64-bit operating system, and as I said before, I think it's going to suit my needs just perfectly. Now, one last thing I wanted to show you was the light up here. I told you that there was a light up here, and the way you turn it on is hit Function Page Up. And let me turn off the light in here so you can actually see it in action. Now, I don't know if it's going to do this justice, but let's check it out. So there we go. You see the light that shines up here, and there you go. It shines down on your computer so you can actually see what you're typing in a dark room. So that's going to do it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And as always, if you want to help out my channel, give me a thumbs up or favorite this video. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.